The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of the staff or management of Visionary Related Entertainment.
Aloha and welcome to Maui Nonprofit Notes, where each week you'll find us talking story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors and their staff to find out how they're working to support those with needs within our community. Maui Nonprofit Notes is generously sponsored by Pacific Source. If you're building or remodeling a home, please stop by Pacific Source's cabinet and appliance showroom located in the Waikapu Base Yard. I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director, Lokahi Pacific, and your host for Maui Nonprofit Notes. For those of you who may be listening for the first time to this weekly show, during the hour we share some of the experiences of our nonprofit agencies and just how they're changing lives, changing communities, and creating miracles of hope for those with needs. Today we're going to start off the show with Lynn McNeff, who is the CEO of MEO. Don't you love it when people do that to you?
I say CEO of Maui Economic Opportunity.
And that's where I was going to go after that. But I don't know. There's something about being CEO of MEO. It's like, of course, there's also those folks who say MEO is MEO, so...
That is correct. So it'd be CO of MEO.
CO of MEO. Oh, we're off to a good start here. Maui Economic Opportunity is a community action
agency. Yes, it is.
Tell us what that means.
In 1964, Lyndon Johnson signed the Economic Opportunity Act, giving funds for people who give them a hands up, the low-income people. So Head Start, which we run, was born. Vista, Peace Corps, LIHEAP, CSEP. LIHEAP is Low-Income Housing Energy Assistance Program. CSEP is Senior Community Service Employment Program. So programs that help low-income people reach out of poverty, help them reach out of poverty and be self-sustaining. And so that was the hope. There are 1,000 of them, community action agencies across the nation. MEO is the community action for Maui. There are 4 in the state: Honolulu Community Action Agency, Kauai Economic Opportunity, and Hawaii County Economic Opportunity Council.
Everybody has just a little name difference.
And they needed to be designated. They were designated, and we do receive Community Service Block Grant for that. And the whole idea is a grassroots, that we know what's in the community, we know the needs of the community, and we find partners to help alleviate those gaps in the community for the low-income people as well as other people in the community.
So because this was started as a federal initiative, if you will, the funding that you get in this block grant that you were talking about is a federal block of funds.
Yes, it is.
Does that get passed down to the state and then to you?
It goes to the state. It was originally from federal to the local agency, but we've had many changes and many presidents, and when Reagan, who was a governor of the state of California, decided he wanted to block grant it. That's why it's a community service block grant to the states to give to the agency.
Ah, I see. Okay. So it gets to go to the pass-through route. But now is the amount designated on a federal level or on the state level?
It's a formula,
okay.
A very confusing formula that most people don't understand. But
okay.
It's on poverty in the community you serve and then a base formula.
Oh, okay.
So it changes every year according to the poverty in the community you serve.
Okay. So we're looking back to 1965. Actually, 64 was the Economic Opportunity Act that President Johnson signed. And this was an all-out war on poverty.
Yes, it was. It was called the War on Poverty.
Right. So have we defeated it?
No, we've made gains. But,
okay.
But I don't know that poverty has changed in this world.
Okay.
And so strategies have to change, and we have to change to address those strategies. I'm not sure that we're ever going to beat it, but we have helped. We have beat it for the people that we have helped.
There you go. Okay. And we talk all kinds of numbers, but we're looking at one at a time.
Absolutely.
Have to.
One individual or one family at a time.
Right.
Correct.
Right. And some of your programs now, you mentioned the Head Start program. You've got folks that are teaching in Head Start program who were in the Head Start program, we could almost be in the second generation of that now.
I would say about the third.
Okay.
Third generation. And the thing there is community action agencies have to have maximum feasibility. That means they need to have the voice of the people they serve on their board and in their advisory council. So that's the idea of Head Start. Their children come in, they volunteer, they decide they want to be in the Head Start field. You assist them with education. They may be assistant director, they may be a case manager, they may be a teacher aide, any of those things. And we have had about 47% of our staff, Head Start staff, are former parents.
Really?
Yes.
47% are former parents or
Former
students?
parents.
Former parents.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So that says a lot about the program.
Yes, it says that
They believe in it.
that it's a family.
Right.
Head Start's considered a preschool. It's a family because the family's involved in the whole program.
Right.
The parents must approve everything that happens in the program. We have a policy council that 51% parents are made up, and they go right through like a board of directors. They approve the budget. They must approve all hires and fires.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Interesting.
And they must approve the snack list, and it goes the curriculum. They have a say in their child's curriculum, so it's really a family, and they have a individual plan for the family. They have to set goals, just like you set them for individuals, and and the case manager follows them through to make sure they reach those goals.
Interesting. So now, to get on that policy council, these are parents, current parents of students,
Yes,
or
it
parents
is.
of current students, whatever.
Yes.
And they serve for a certain period of time.
They're elected yearly. They can be elected after they leave if they're a community rep at that point.
Oh, okay.
And so we have parent committees in every center. And those parent committees are the one that decide the curriculum, the excursions and everything, and they elect the person to represent them on the policy council.
Oh, interesting. So how many Head Start centers do you have now?
15.
15,
Uh-huh.
and that's on all islands.
That's 13 here, 2 on Molokai, and a partnership with the Lanai Preschool.
I see. And so how many, if you know the number off the top of your head, how many students are we talking about?
298.
Just happens to be 298.
Uh-huh.
Gotcha. Okay, not 300, 298.
No, 298. We serve 299, but it's
But you have a wait list that's probably equal to that.
It is. It is definitely equal to that. And the thing is that you'd be surprised. Our parents are working families.
Right.
You think that people don't work if they qualify for Head Start. Now remember, it's 100% poverty. So a family needs to make $27,000. A family of 4, $27,000 annually or less to be at the 100% poverty. And we have that.
Wow.
And these are working families, so we have full day. The county provides the full day, the afternoon portion and the summer portion. So that shows you how the poverty level of, and they're working.
Gosh, that's it's hard to believe. I'm not saying it's not believable, but it's very hard to believe.
It is hard to believe.
That you can work and be at that level.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got these parents that are serving in various capacities. Some of them have come through the program themselves. They've seen what it's done for them, and how they were able to progress. And that's the whole point of Head Start. Is
Absolutely.
a Head Start.
And now it's school readiness, and they're just right up there with every other preschool, if not better, when they enter that kindergarten, and that's what it's about.
And we're talking ages
3 to 5.
3 to 5. Prior to that, there's an early Head Start program
an
that
early
Maui Family Support Services does.
Yes.
They were on the other week, and they were talking about prenatal Head Start, and I'm going, what?
Prenatal to 3.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, my goodness.
Well, if you think about it, low-income families necessarily don't have the medical
Right.
that they need, because that may be what I give up rather than put food on my table.
Right.
And so it's educating them what that does for them and helping them along so that child is born healthy, and then continuing with that parenting and that care for that child up till age 3, and then we pick them up.
I see. And is there a lot of transition straight from that into yours?
Well, there is, but there is not as much as you'd think, because when they get to 3, they may not be low income anymore. They have to
okay.
qualify for Head Start, and that's the goal.
Okay.
Remember, we're not to
Right.
be perpetual or
That's right.
intergenerational.
That's right. You want them to advance to the point
Right,
where they
can pay
outgrow
for
it. Yeah.
Right, they can pay for their own.
Interesting. So, if there's that kind of a wait list, you said like double
Yeah.
what you're serving. Why don't the feds give you more money to serve more of them?
Well, it's a comprehensive program, so it costs more. We all the meals are provided. That we make sure they have their health. All of their health is up to date. Their dental is up to date. So it's not. So you have managers that manage that. Why don't they give us more? They're trying to, but in this day and age, where are you going to get more?
Right. Everybody's fighting for that extra dollar.
And they also require that our teachers have bachelors now.
Oh, okay.
In the state of Hawaii, a CDA gets you a directorship.
Oh my gosh.
So, and that was a requirement, but no extra funding for that. So we had to figure out how we were going to fund the increased credentials. An assistant teacher has to have a CDA,
Now, CDA is a
Child Development Associate's degree.
degree. Okay. Wow. So that it's like so many other things, more pressure for the more advanced education, and no money to fund it.
Right. Well, we did fund it, but you have to figure out what you're going
What you're going to give up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because you have to have mental health person in there too, you have to have a nutritionist approves all your snack. I mean, it's a very very hard program to run. There's over 1,000 performance standards
Oh, gee.
that need to be met.
Well, you've got one of the greatest people in the world running the program.
Oh, I
so,
agree totally.
Debbie's just incredible. Debbie Amaral, and she's been on several times, and I love visiting with her.
Her passion is
Oh
unbelievable.
yeah. I mean, she just reeks of
Yes, she
whatever
does.
she can do for that age group and
And
that program.
I'd say she's one of many passionate employees we have because, nonprofit doesn't pay. And working with hard to serve clients can be taxing at times. So you have to have that passion in order to get up every day and come to work and go on.
I think I can understand what you're talking about.
I think you can, and I think our other guests can
Other
too.
guests, she may not know it now, but she will learn it. She's fairly new, but we'll figure that one out. But you're right. I mean, if you don't love what you're doing and want to help people, it's not going to work for you.
No, and you have to want to help. And as we tell everybody, you have to get some intrinsic value out of it, or else it's not the job for you.
That's true. Very true. Very true. So I guess the Head Start program is kind of the beacon, as I see it, of the program, because it does works with the I keep saying kids, and everybody keeps saying they're not goats, they're small people, children.
Children.
That as it says, it's Head Start. So why wouldn't we want everybody in that program possible? Well, we do, but the funding is
That's
the problem.
correct. They say that for every dollar you spend in Head Start, you save $7 at a later time. They go on to college, they own their own home. Prevention is hard to sell
Right.
because it doesn't get the results right now that I can see. Next year, we're not going to see all those benefits.
Right.
So it's very hard. But Head Start is a model and it's fashioned after the National Accreditation of Children. So, it is the program that many should be in. Right now, we have the public preschools. We have fifth grade teachers teaching because they couldn't give the money to private preschools. So they started the public preschools, and the money couldn't go to anybody but the DOE. So now, and they don't have the credentials. So we have fifth grade teachers teaching young children.
Oh my goodness.
So, and it's not the comprehensiveness. So, it's good that they get to go to school, but is it good?
Right.
So it takes a real solid program to advance the families.
Right. Well, now you obviously do lots of surveys of the students, the teacher, or the parents, etc. So firsthand what the results are. Like you're talking about, we're in the third generation of students
absolutely.
who are now graduates who have their own families, now grandkids perhaps. Do you see that trend line that everybody was hoping for?
I think we do. I think we're very successful. The thing is, we don't have control after they leave us.
Right.
So, it's hard to progress on. And someone said, well, they lose their edge in fourth grade Head Start children. Well, we haven't had them for 4 years. So you
That's
really
true.
can't blame us
I
for
see.
the fourth.
Okay.
We had them maybe 1 or 2 years, and they were fine, and then they lose that edge.
Right.
But it takes, in a large class, you may lose them.
That's true.
So, and our policy council chairperson that is currently on our board, we asked her why she wanted to be in Head Start again. And she said her first child went to Head Start, is in 4th grade, reads like all the time. And she said her next child didn't make it because of her income. And she said she's so disappointed, and she cried. She says, I feel like I failed my child because I didn't provide them the same as I did my first. So I insisted that my 3rd child be in Head Start.
Excuse me. Hello. What voice is that?
So, we get the testimonies. You hear them at budget hearings. You hear that how the 16-year-old was kicked out of her home by her parents, is pregnant, and had no place to go. Ends up she's graduating with a bachelor's, and she has her child in the 4th grade. And, she gets up there and says, without Head Start, without somebody to believe in me. And that's really what it is when you work with low income. It's somebody that believes in you and not telling you no all the time,
Right.
that you can't do something.
It makes all the difference in the world.
It does.
We got to take a short break, and I'll try to get my voice back.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And I think we're back.
Good.
I think
She
I'm
survived.
back. Woo, that was something else. You just don't know when those things hit. So we've spent some time talking about Head Start, which is a fascinating program to me, and I hope to those of you out there listening. But let's shift gears a little bit here and talk about community services.
Yes, that's really our hub. It's a lot of little programs, but all necessary programs. We could have 5 nonprofits in ours. It would be the early childhood, the business development, the transportation, the community services, and the youth services. But community services is a lot of little necessary programs. Then Jerry does a great job of holding them all together because, the funding, and that's where some of our CSBG is allowed to go to assist with those programs that maybe not able to fund themselves.
CSBG was that community block grant we were talking
community
about.
service block grant.
Right.
So downstairs in community services, he has the reintegration program, which helps inmates come out of the facility and get their employment, work clothes, various things they need in order to stay in the community and not have the revolving door. Then we have Enlace Hispano, which serves the Hispanic community and serves them very well. In fact, when the county was going to, because they have immigrant service, and when they were going to take it and put it in immigrant services, Kevin Block says, will you do that? I'm just going to contract with MEO because they have the relationship. And as you know, in the cultural communities, the relationships are what count, is what makes
And it also would have created an overload for the county because they're pretty stretched as it is with who they serve.
And then we have the Senior Community Service Employment Program, which is what I mentioned earlier. And that helps seniors 50 or older who may not have the necessary skills to get employment. So we place them in nonprofits in a training sort of program. They get minimum wage, and then we place them in employment after that.
Ah, interesting.
So, and then we have 60 senior groups under us.
Ah, yes, the senior groups, the mighty senior groups.
Yes, we like the senior groups.
And they've got a big party coming up.
They have the Aloha Kapuna Luncheon, which is Saturday. It's like the prom for seniors. And they get all dressed up. And unfortunately, this year we couldn't go to Grand Wailea because they're renovating the ballroom. And the same with the Hyatt is renovating their ball. So we had to downsize it, which, if you know seniors, they let us know they were not happy.
Ooh.
And so we had to limit the number, and this is election year too, and all those
all the candidates come out.
Yeah, so it was a hard year.
Yeah, I would think so. So that's this Saturday. Now, it's always interesting to me because it's a senior group, and we talked about relating it to the prom. You don't have it at night because they're seniors. You have it at noon. Right?
And usually start eating at 11 because that's correct.
I got you.
I arrive at 9:30. I want to eat at 11. I want to have coffee there. I have my entertainment. I want that bus out there at 1 o'clock.
And then that's another big part of it. You not only sponsor the dinner or the prom, the party, but you have your buses bringing most of the people to
25 buses will bring 400 seniors to the Sheraton.
From
And
all
that's
over the
a whole logistic.
Yeah.
Hana, Lanai. Yeah, it's a whole logistic. You can imagine getting them there, getting them out of the bus into the ballroom or through the candidates, whichever one they want. And they like to go the candidates because candidates hand out goodies.
Goodies, yes.
So I've got to see every candidate.
Right.
And then have the lunch and the entertainment, and then back on the right bus home safely.
Right. I don't know anybody on this bus. How come?
Yes. So now we've gotten bus numbers.
Okay.
So that because they get, they get confused, and so there's a lot of people there. So
it's not like your buses all look alike.
Yeah. Well,
many of them do.
Doesn't make any difference.
I gotcha. No, but it's a from what I understand, it's a grand time had by all.
It is. They enjoy it a lot. We have their own senior groups perform, and then we have a headliner usually, and so they enjoy it. We've had Elvis, we've had Andy Boomatai, we've had various entertainers, and so they always like to.
It's a fun time.
And they even dance.
Yeah, I'll bet they do. And then the door prizes and things like that for people?
Oh, of course. We have to solicit door prizes. We solicit door prizes. And they watch you very closely to make sure that you're fair with the door prizes, that you didn't you didn't pick the name and then pick the door prize and stir the pot. And, I said, I'm not doing that part. I'm not going to get blamed because somebody didn't. And how many in each club get a door prize versus their club?
Oh, yeah, you can't have one club getting too many. Ooh, gotcha. That's tricky.
It is. It's some fun.
Yeah, but I understand that there's no such thing as a bad door prize.
Oh no,
I mean it's like
politicians donate it.
Right.
Resorts. I mean, they really they like mostly money.
Right.
They like the money.
Money and gift certificates. A lot of Longs and places like that people buy gift certificates.
The only thing
from.
we have to caution about is please leave the silverware and the plates. They're not door prizes. Have to check your bags at the door. Because that has happened.
Really?
We have been called by
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Wow. Well, they get so excited being out, and this is, you're right, the big deal of the year.
It is. And
especially this year, if you're one of the 400 that gets to go, because usually it's like 600 or 800, isn't it?
800.
800, yeah. So it's cut in half this year.
So,
you almost had to have 2 parties.
Well, they didn't suggest that.
Oh. It's a good thing I wasn't there.
That's right. But no, it is a big thing, and it's sad that we had to because, we don't limit it. And so it was the first 400, and then we stamped the date, and we had to be real careful. And then someone said, I called you, and I said, but it's not a call, it's first paid. But I wasn't there, and I didn't get the letter, and I said, we proved the letters went out. I mean, it was...
Yeah, it doesn't work with Hawaiian Electric, and it doesn't work with Maui Economic Opportunity for the senior luncheon.
That's right.
I sent it.
And we had to limit the number of candidates, too, because of the space.
Did you?
Yes. So
that's a hard one.
It was, and then they had to, of course, we're putting them in the order that they paid their money because, if I want to be at the front of the line, so it's politically...
Okay, I think I'll stay home. Not that I would go to anyway. When I get to be a senior, I may think about it.
Okay.
But that's down the road quite a ways, so
Yes.
that's no big deal. We are just about out of time, and I know that talking about community services, you just finished LIHEAP,
Yes, we did.
which is the energy.
Low income housing energy assistance program. Yes.
And did you have a record crowd for that this year?
Yes, we did. We had more, and some years when they live with their families, because it's on family size, and then it's less because as you add more and more income. But we did have a record crowd. The problem is it's only in the month of June, and that's decided by the state of Hawaii because LIHEAP runs nationally, but each state decides how they're going to run it. And I've asked them maybe 2 months because that's the end of our grant years too.
Oh, ouch!
June, so makes it really hard.
Right.
But Jerry does a wonderful job on it.
Well, now on the mainland, it kind of got started as being something that helped people with their winter
Their heat, correct?
bills.
Yes.
Yeah. And of course, thank goodness we don't have that problem.
Well, and so we get less of a portion because we are a warm state, so they don't think we need it. But people need, and our electricity though is high,
Right.
so it balances out.
Right.
But
Well, I know we see some of our tenants that are able to collect on that, and it does a wonderful job of helping them out.
it does.
And of course, it gets spread out over whatever period.
Right. It's a credit. I think the average credit was $800 last year, and they just keep using it until some people get it, year after year. So
Yeah, it almost runs for a year.
and then they come in again, and
Yeah.
so it is. It's good because energy is a big cost to low-income families. It's a big cost to a lot of people, but
Yeah, right.
particularly if you have not
Right.
that much income and you have to pay a big chunk.
Exactly. And living on a small income, fixed income. We didn't get to transportation at all. We'll have to do that later. I think we've got.
Youth services,
No, we've got.
David.
David's coming on in a couple weeks, I think, to
Business
talk about
Development
the
Center.
business development classes. And then I think we have Harry back on
Okay.
sometime a little later in the year.
We have to get Cassie too.
And talk. And we had Cassie a few months
Oh,
ago.
good.
Yeah. So I think we've had everybody. It's
Good.
It's kind of like a second round here
Yes.
for a couple of them. And David's a new director, so
Yes,
it'll be
he
his
is.
first time doing the show. So looking forward to seeing him, and I'm so proud of him because I hired him.
Yes. He's doing a great job. And that was the right choice because that internal knowledge is so important. Things are very complicated in many agencies, and if you can promote within, you just save yourself that extra. And they also have the passion already.
Right.
Right. They're already committed to the company and know what it's about, so they kind of know what they're getting into.
Right.
Maybe not totally, but somewhat.
It's the reports they have to write.
That's correct.
That are the stumbling block.
That's
I
right.
remember that.
Well, I want to thank you for having me on.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us and talking about
Appreciate
community
it.
service and the Community Action Agency and the whole war on poverty. And while we may not have won the war, as you said, the dynamics have changed in the war a little bit, and we're making progress one family at a time.
We've won the war for one family at a time throughout the years, so it's like the seashell, throwing
Gotcha.
it in then.
Right. Very good. Okay. Well, thank you so much,
Thank you,
Lynn.
Susie.
Okay. Have a great party Saturday.
Oh, thank you.
And thank goodness it's this Saturday and wasn't last Saturday. Boy, that would have been awful.
Yes, it would have.
You think the seniors said something about only half of them could go,
Well, then we wouldn't have had to decide whether any of them would have gone, right?
and you would have heard from about 395 that were unhappy
Maybe
about the weather.
401.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Lynn. Have
Thank
a great
you,
day.
Susie.
Okay. We're going to shift gears now, and we're going to talk to somebody who's kind of new to the game.
Yes.
Sophie, just come right on up to the microphone
Oh,
here.
okay.
We're talking with Sophie Lee, who is the Family Services Manager, fancy title,
I know.
at Habitat for Humanity Maui.
Yes.
How you doing?
Good. Thank
Yeah?
you so much for having me here.
Well, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Family Services Manager, what does that mean you do?
So I provide support to our families because, even after they move into their houses, we don't stop right there. We, support them throughout their home ownership because it's a long time commitment and it can be kind of confusing, especially the first year. So I'm there to support them, provide them with any other resources that they would need. And also I am the liaison between Habitat and the families. So, lots of communications.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So now if does your working with them start with like they walk in the door and say we're interested in building a home with Habitat?
Yeah. Three of us in the office, four including our ED. But everyone picks up the phone, and if they have a question about the program, then of course any of us can answer. But the initial application and stuff like that, I am there to help them throughout the process. The application is pretty,
Extensive.
Yeah, exactly. So it can be kind of confusing, and I can definitely walk through the application with them and work with potential homeowners.
Right.
And then I also do like credit counseling to see where they are in terms of mortgage ready.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. So
Okay.
some is, long-term commitments.
Right.
And some are, they should be ready in about a couple of months or so.
Okay. So one of the key things that I think is interesting about Habitat is that you're working with people who have property but can't afford to build the house
Right.
for the most part.
Yeah. So two different programs. One is the renovations that we do
Okay.
called the Brush with Kindness program. And
Right.
that's where, they have the property already and then they need renovations to make their house more safe and decent.
So it could be a couple that's lived in the house for many years. They're now getting up there in age. They need
Right.
some of the senior tools, the
Yes.
hand railings, some of those kinds of things, and
Exactly.
they're now retired and their income doesn't allow them to add those kinds of things to their house
Right, exactly.
on themselves.
Yeah, and we just actually finished a project right down the road from our office. It was an elderly woman who needed tub to shower conversion, and we put in a wheelchair ramp for her, and just got done with the project, and she's so happy with her new house. It's all painted.
It must feel like a new house.
Yeah,
Oh, really? So you did
really-
everything.
yeah, it looks so great, and it's so happy to see her so happy. It's so gratifying.
Right.
So.
And now this is all done by volunteers.
Yes, the volunteers are mostly the labor, but we do have a construction supervisor who supervises the projects and, of course, for safety reasons as
Right.
well. But yeah, mostly volunteers, which is amazing. And they're so passionate and they work so hard out in the job site, which is really amazing to see.
Isn't it great?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, that's the Brush with Kindness, BWK.
Right.
That program that you have. But now the other one that you've got, and I noticed, took a look at your website, and you've got two projects. You got one going on Lanai right now,
Right.
and you've got one that you're kind of waiting on permits, I guess, for here on Maui.
Right.
But in both cases, after extensive research and looking through the house and so forth, your construction team decided it was better to knock down the old house and build a new one.
Yes, for the Lanai project, it was a tear down and a rebuild, and the sweetest lady, oh my goodness, she's so amazing. I talk to her every Friday, but since we're physically can't be there every
Right.
Friday, so I talk to her and see how the project is going, and in a couple of months, that should be finished. But that's the thing. The construction, team decides whether or not, this is the right option or that's the right option. They assess the situation, and sometimes it's a tear down and a rebuild.
So now, is this are these all Lanai volunteers that are working on that house, or do some people go over there from here to assist?
I think Lanai volunteers as well. I know that there are a couple of groups of people that are extensively working on it. So
Cool.
yeah, it's really cool.
And it's a lady with her 3 grandchildren, I think I saw.
Yeah, lady
That's
with
great.
3
That's great.
grandchildren. Yeah, it was.
And it's interesting because, I'm a home and garden channel watcher,
Oh yeah, me too.
and I look at some of those houses that they're going to go in and renovate, and I think, you got to be kidding. Just tear it down.
Right, right.
But it has something about it, some characteristic that they think is worth saving and using as the focal point.
Right.
And they go in, and some of the work they've done is fabulous. But by the time they get done with it, it is like a rebuild, because when you see them starting to work, I mean, this gets knocked out, this gets taken out.
Right, right.
But it's hard to imagine that you can put together a plan where you can afford to do this for families.
Right.
Now, they end up paying something.
Yes, we are not a handout. We are a hand up. And
Right.
that's, a thing that we really stress, and especially in my classes, because I want everyone to know that, our partner families are really hardworking families, and they pay their mortgage on time. And, we think it's amazing because we are able to, do this for hardworking families. And yeah, it's we are a mortgage company, so you're
Right.
paying, us the 0% interest mortgage back.
Right. So when you build a house or make major renovations, there is a mortgage attached.
Right.
But they're paying you, like you say, 0 interest. But they have to qualify like anybody else.
Right.
So that's where your credit counseling and everything else comes into play. We got to take a short break,
Okay.
and we'll be right back
Sounds
with
good.
Sophia Lee.
Thank you,
Aloha
Susie.
from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back, and this is Maui Nonprofit Notes, your weekly radio show where we talk story with our nonprofit executive directors and their staff to find out how they're helping folks in our community with various needs. And the first half of the show, we were talking with Lynn McNeff of Maui Economic Opportunity. And the second half, we're talking with Sophie Lee, who is the Family Services Manager for Habitat for Humanity Maui. It's interesting to me that Habitat Maui is a fairly new organization. Was it 2003, something like that? I saw when they hired the first executive director. I mean, that's 13 years ago. That's recent. And in those 13 years, you've built and housed how many families? Do you know off the top of your head? I'm thinking 30, 35, someplace in there.
I'm not quite sure on the exact number.
Okay, but it's somewhere between 2 and 3 average a year. And some years, of course, last year you finished the Kahavai project, which was 16 affordable condo type houses or units, which was fabulous.
Right.
And I'm not sure I know the numbers, but I had looked at excuse me, at your website again. But I think the thing about the program, and I know several people who have built homes through Habitat, and they're basic homes. We're not building mansions. We're not building $1 million houses. But some of them have started out with the basic houses and have been able to add on to those houses and renovate them and upgrade some of the interior things and so forth to where they have the house that they wanted originally. at this point in time.
Exactly. And that's the greatest thing, is that that's what we, want them to do. Take this affordable housing and make it into their own. Put your personal touch into it. Make the house a home, right? So we set it up so that they're able to do that. We don't necessarily put in the ceiling fan, but there's all the wiring so that they can put in a ceiling fan later on.
Right.
So I think that's why the homeownership education class is so important, because we do discuss, what now? What now after I move in? So, that's a big topic. It can be kind of overwhelming for a first-time home buyer.
And some people, and I stands to reason, if you've never owned a home before, is that a requirement, by the way, to not have ever owned before?
No,
Oh, it's not?
That's not
Okay.
a requirement.
Okay. If you walk into a new house and you say, wow, here we are, and then you just live in it, at some point in time, it's going to be run down.
Right.
Because every new house, every house requires an ongoing maintenance program. And I'm sure that's a big part of what you talk about in your classes.
Yes, definitely. The ongoing costs of maintenance, repairs, and, how to keep the house a safe and decent, affordable place. Because it's not just right now, but 20 years down the road, how is your house going to be? So it's really interesting to see people's reaction. This topic is brand new to them, and most of them, and they're like, oh my goodness, I had no idea. I didn't even think about down the road. It's really cool to...
Yeah. Well, and if they're coming out of years of rentals, when something broke, they call the landlord.
Right.
And hoped that somebody would show up sooner or later to fix it.
Yeah.
And at no cost to them, which was, fabulous. But you do now have that to incur that cost yourself. And so the better condition you can keep everything in on an ongoing basis, the better off you are.
Yes, definitely.
Otherwise, 8 years down the road, you're replacing everything.
Right. Always better to prevent, than to fix it later on. So,
right.
It's... Yeah, and the mentality, right? As a homeowner, you can't just call the landlord. You have to find the plumber yourself and, pay for it.
Right. There's the big key.
Yeah, and you should, because the house is yours. It's your baby. It's your investment. So, it's really an important part of being a homeowner.
Right. Now, you when somebody comes to you and says, I've got you also work with folks who have Hawaiian homelands.
Yes, we
right?
do.
So if I've gotten my lot from the Hawaiian Homelands program, and I don't know how I'm ever going to get a house built. I don't have the resources, and I don't have the credit to go out and get the financing to just buy a house built. I can come to you and I can talk to you about what can we do. Now, the big thing for you folks is that the sweat equity, if I can call it that,
right.
That the owner and their family is going to put into this. And there's a certain number of hours and things that are required?
Yeah, so it's 500 hours total if we're doing a ground-up project. But for Brush with Kindness program, families are a little bit different, but it's 500 hours. 200 of those need to be done by the homeowner, and 300 can be done by coworkers, friends, families, anyone out in the community who can actually come out and help build your house. So, and that's the whole essence of the program is, getting volunteers together, getting the whole community together to come and build your house.
A community built home.
Yeah, I think
cool.
Yeah, so it's so much more rewarding when the house is done, and you feel like you've accomplished something, and it's now yours, and that feeling when you put so much hard work into something.
Sounds like time for a party.
Exactly.
A big party. Yeah, you kind of find out who your friends are when you say, "Would you help me build my house?"
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly.
You may make a lot of new friends, though, too, because there are people out there, and thank goodness there are, who want to help people.
Yeah.
And if they're handy with tools or paintbrush or whatever, this is a way to help. Now,
Definitely.
You obviously don't have a hammer to somebody who has never used one.
Well, the construction supervisor is always at the job site. So another thing is that, they actually teach construction skills to people who are the volunteers and who really want to learn. So it's amazing what a group of volunteers can do, in terms of building and doing stuff that I could have never imagined.
Right.
Even myself, we had a woman build week.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, where all the women came out and, did the renovations for the elderly woman. And I was amazed at what I could do in terms of construction, because I have no background in it. But the construction supervisor is very, educating people, the safety and the rules of how to do things. So it's great for anyone who wants to learn, even if they don't have background in it.
It seems to me like some time ago you guys had a class even that the community could come and take to learn, or come and work on a house. And if like if you had a plumbing project you wanted to do at your house, you could come and help build somebody else's house, learn the skills, and then go back and do your own.
Right.
Which is fabulous.
Right. And I think in the future, we are going to have those classes, the home maintenance,
right.
Yeah, to see how do you, change a light bulb, or, something a little bit more difficult than that. But, yeah.
I don't know. Some light bulbs aren't easy to change.
Oh, that's true, too.
So it's, when people come in and just, they have no idea, about that they have to have a lot. Can you sometimes help them find an empty lot someplace that they can buy, or is that strictly on them?
So the first thing we ask is, do you own land?
Right.
And if they do own, they usually call and ask what kinds of programs that we offer, and then I tell them, the Brush with Kindness program or the Rebuild. So for the ground up project, you would need land, and we have projects where we get donated land, like the Lahaina project that's coming up, the Kahoma project. We are getting 10 lots to build affordable houses in.
We gonna get ready for that?
Oh, we are so excited, and people have been calling every day to be listed on the interest list.
Right. Because it's now ready to go. As far as all the court issues are settled, and as I understand, finally, it's going to happen.
Yeah. So as soon as we are 100% sure, we are telling everyone on the interest list that, now is the time you have to apply, and we'll give them a window to apply. So that's going to be so exciting. We already have 120 people or something like
goodness.
that on the interest list. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, it's quite interesting to see, but it just shows the demand.
Right. I'm sure Lahaina is just, it's so needy over there.
Right.
Now, are these houses all going to be different, or is there one set of plans pretty much that everybody's going to be following?
Yeah. The houses, we have one or two options that they can choose from, the blueprint. And it depends on how many families, right? So if it's a family of 5, it could be a 3-bedroom, or the house sizes are different. The model is slightly bit different, but we don't have hundreds of options to choose from. But they can certainly put their own personal touches into the color of the roof, the walls, and what kind of countertops they would like, and stuff like that.
That's interesting. You're lighting up just talking about it.
Oh,
I can see that there's a certain passion coming out here.
I get excited.
Well, it's an exciting thing, and it's been so long in the coming.
Yeah.
We're looking back at 2005 or 6 when this whole thing started. We were originally supposed to be in there to build some houses.
Oh, yeah.
But we had to turn it back because of the time length here that was going on.
Right.
So Nahalio Maui has got our lots.
Oh, okay.
And they're going to be building houses for people in their portfolio, and then of course West Maui Land is building some of their houses. So you're in that property, as I understand it, you're going to have folks who are like your folks up to 80% of HUD income, and in Nahalio, Maui, I think is 80 to 120 or something like that.
Right.
And then West Maui land is 120 up to 150, and then some market rates.
Right.
So that's just going to be an interesting community over there that just follows the stream down the hill.
Exactly. I think so. But I think it's going to be great, because of the diversity.
Right.
And so back to your question, if they don't have land, we talk about this Kahoma project that's coming up and encourage people to get ready because it's coming in the fall, and the applications will be open. So that's what we've been suggesting.
And the fall's coming quick.
Oh, yeah. It's already...
I can't believe it's August.
I know. It's already August.
Gee. Unbelievable. It seems like we just had Christmas. Actually, I never did get ready for last Christmas. Well, maybe I'll catch it this year. Right? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's that's exciting, and to see that it's really going to happen.
Yeah.
Is the greatest news
Yeah,
possible.
it's really great. We just saw, the layout of it, how it's going to be in the subdivision, and the 10 habitat, lots, and then, it's just going to be a really cool project.
It's always fun to start a project. I'm still waiting to start mine, but we've got a project down behind your Kahomo property. I don't know if you knew that or not, but we're building 16 houses in a subdivision down there.
Okay.
And so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Wow.
So, Sophie, you like what you're doing?
I love it so far. I really do. If I could think of a dream job, this would be it.
What did you do before, can I ask?
Yeah, of course. I was actually a teacher.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I come from a teaching background. I was teaching international students. It's kind of perfect because now I can use my teaching background and also, social service background as well into this job.
Are you originally from Maui?
No, I'm not actually.
You're not?
No, I actually just moved here 2 months ago. Or no, I'm sorry, 5 months ago.
5 months ago.
It's already been 5 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
From
Oahu, and then from San Diego.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you moved. No, you didn't move west. You moved west and then east.
A slight
turn, kind of like Darby. Slight turn.
Exactly.
Only for the good.
Thank
So
you.
Maui's very fortunate to have you. So is Habitat. That's great.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure talking with you this afternoon.
Yeah, thank you.
Any last thoughts that you want us to convey? Maybe we should talk about your phone number.
Oh yeah, sure. So the homeownership education class is open to the public, and it's free. And free education. That's amazing, right?
Right.
So and everyone is welcome. If they would like to attend, then they would have to call and reserve a seat. The number is 242-1140, and that's the office number.
Very good. And you've got classes coming up pretty soon in August, yeah?
Yeah, it's once a month. So
Once a month.
Yep.
Great. Okay.
Thank you so much, Susie.
Thank you, Sophie. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure meeting you too.
Oh, another show. I can't believe it. It's like we just got started. We're going to have to go to 2 hours next year. Oh, boy. Did I say that? I said it out loud, didn't I? Maui Nonprofit Notes is sponsored as a community service by Pacific Source, the builder's choice. Give Paul and his staff a call at 986-0380 or stop by their showroom in the Waikapu Base Yard on East Oahe Way to see how they can help you with your building project. The Maui Nonprofit Directors Association's mission is to provide personal and professional support to nonprofit executive directors, their organizations, and the community of Maui. Please visit our website at mauinonprofit.org for a list of member agencies. And if you see one there that you'd like to find out more about, go to their website and check them out. Again, today we visited with Lynn McNeff, the CEO of Maui Economic Opportunity. Give them a call at 249-2990 to find out how they can help you. We've also spent time with Sophie Lee, who's the Family Services Manager for Habitat for Humanity. Give her a call at 242-1140 for more information on the classes and the building program. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to join us next week right here, same time, same place, when we'll feature 2 more representatives of other agencies. Again, I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director, Lokahi Pacific, and a host for Maui Nonprofit Notes. Thanks for joining us. Have a great week. Aloha.